Hello to anyone who joins in here. I look forward to seeing you. And what I'm going to do is I will give a few moments for people to come in so that I'm not just speaking to myself before I start off. Let me see if I can play music for you before taking off. Uh, I hope your Saturday is going great or has been good so far. Today, I have a very transformational message for you that is life changing. And I know that it's something that many people have heard about, but a lot of people do not really know how to apply this in their life and to really get the effect in their lives because we're approaching these things from the wrong angle. I'm trying to find music to play in the meantime while waiting for people to join. Let me see. No, I don't think I want this one. No, 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 no. Now give me a moment to find something. When you come along, don't run away. Give me a moment to find something good while we wait for people to come in. I can see that there is still no one there yet. So I still have some time to play around. What about this one? I'm going to wait for a few minutes to see if anyone is going to come in before I start. In the meantime, I think I still have time to play around with music then. I don't think I am too crazy about this one. I think that first one was even better. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on. What about this one? No. No, I don't think so. I don't even know what I was playing just now. I'm just waiting to see if anyone is going to come along before I start. Because we're dishing gems today and I'd rather have somebody there listening live. I think I'm going to go in. I feel like waiting, but I feel like I should still wait a bit. It's just that I wouldn't like when people are watching this on the rewatch to have to wait for all this music, and I won't be able to remove this time that I'm waiting until tomorrow. So anybody who comes and sees the rewatch later, the afterplay, is going to have to be waiting through the music or have to forward it just a bit. And I like to prevent that inconvenience for the viewers. In the meantime, let me try something else. I'm not so crazy about this one. Let me see. Let's see what this one sounds like. This is not too bad. So if you come across this video today is Saturday the 16th of November. Right now, what I'm doing is waiting for someone to notice that I am live here and to come into the audience before I start dishing today's gems. So if you come across this afterplay afterwards, I will tell you what minute I actually started talking so that you can skip all this music and get to the real meat of today's conversation. In the meantime, I have to wait. I don't want to be talking to the air. And that's why I'm playing the music. And I am still searching for something that is going to be more generally enjoyable. I will later trim off this part because I'd rather people just get to the meat, right? But I won't be able to do it until tomorrow. It won't finish processing until tomorrow. So if you come across this today, understand that that's what's happened. I think I'll actually write that information in the box under the video after I am done, so that that's a lovely message. Thank you. That's lovely. And you are much appreciated. You are much appreciated. Let me look for better music. I don't like this one. This one says calm. Let's see. It is calm, but I don't like the beginning. This one says happy. It doesn't sound like the kind of thing I want. I'm watching to see if anyone has come in yet. I have some very naughty friends. No, this is not it. What is this one? This one says okay. No problem. No problemo. No problemo. I hope nobody comes and sees me doing this. There is still no one here yet. What is the difference? I am still waiting. All these things are not nice. In the meantime, I have a call. Hello, yes. How can I help you? Calling to disturb the live. The conversation is about mistakes men make. You want to hear about Olumba? Huh?
Now you are one here. The one thing will make in congregation begin start everything for you. Tonight.
Isn't that man supposed to be dead? He's dead, isn't he?
He's dead, but his son is still
But they said, yeah, but I think they were waiting for him to come back from the dead. Isn't that what they said?
Waiting for Olumba to come back.
Oh, you didn't know that? They've been waiting for him to come back because they didn't believe that he was dead. They were waiting for him to resurrect.
Okay. After how many years?
And now that they finally come to realize that he's not coming back because of the problems that the family is having, because the son has taken over. So they finally they started quarreling. The people who are waiting for him to come back started fighting with the people who are now worshiping the son. So that's what the fight is about, I think. What's funny? Are we not in trouble in this world? When these are the people that you are living with, these are the people that are taking decisions with you about what will happen with you in your country. Huh? What? You can't even laugh, right? You don't know what to say? Which parts? Ya kpọọ ndị na-eme ya ka ọ ya kpọọ onye ka a kpọrọ ọkụ na.
So, agwaghị Olumba na-abịachi. There are people actually that believe that.
Did you not believe before that? Don't let me start talking now. Haven't you believed some unusual and unreasonable things in your life? Huh? You want me to start? You want me to go on that on this live?
Don't go on any of this live or anything. Don't start with me. It's not go funny.
It's not go funny.
So they're waiting, they make them they fight.
Yeah, that's it. So they're fighting the people who are now worshiping the sun because they are waiting for the real God who died years ago to come back.
For how long are they waiting for him?
How
For
would
how
I
long are they
know?
going to wait?
Huh?
How long are they going to wait for him?
They have to have faith now. You want them to be like people who don't have faith. They have to just be waiting until he comes, until he shows up. Hmm? Is it because you don't believe? You want them to jettison their beliefs because of you? Is that what you're saying? Do you understand? You understand, eh? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not believing. I'm not talking anything. I used to put words in my mouth.
No, I'm asking you. I'm not putting the words. I'm not putting it to you. I'm just asking you.
No, they ask me that kind of question.
Why?
I know they answer that kind of question.
Okay, what are you eating? You will answer that one at least, right?
No.
What are you eating?
The pasta.
Iti. Okay. This thing is getting too long. I am going to go. Can you allow me to cut it off now? I'm going to go
Live.
I'm going to go and have the conversation. Oh, okay, let me see if I'm able to cut it.
Don't worry, let me eat. Do your stuff. I'm just tired. I just pissed off.
Yep.
I'm doing a change wasn't successful, so.
Why?
The new tie was the wrong one. And to go return it to where I bought it is like I'm 30 minutes going and 30 minutes coming. By the time
why would it be the wrong one? You didn't have any conversation with any of the assistants when you were trying to purchase it. Why?
I had a conversation. I thought it was actually the tire that I bought could have, because the tires I'm using is 245 50 rim 20. But the one that my motor uses is 245 50 20, right? Rim 20.
Okay,
the tire could have fit, but they are saying that based on their standard or whatever, that if it is 3% gap, they would install it for me.
Okay, I'm very sorry to hear about that. I think I have 2 people there right now. Oh, hi, Famous. Good to see you. Let me go into that conversation. Let's talk later.
All right.
Okay, bye. Good to see you, Famous. I am glad that you came by. I will come and see what you're doing, what you've been up to. I saw you last week barbing your baby's hair. Took your baby to the barber. Right, so today I'm talking about mistakes men make, and I am going into something that is very crucial, that I know that is one of the fundamental issues, one of the fundamental reasons why couples have problems in relationships. And I'm coming from the angle of men, because I do believe that a man is the one who in a relationship should take ownership of the relationship. And even as we came into this world, a lot of us saw that that's what we came to meet. And in fact, you will see that a relationship where a man is handling himself very well, we see that that relationship goes smoothly. It becomes a problem when we have a difficult woman. But many times we don't realize that the woman may not necessarily be difficult, but in this relationship, she's difficult because they are not employing the right dynamics in that relationship. So I want to talk about confidence. Confidence is the undeniable key that a man needs to possess. Thank you very much. Yeah, if anybody else is there, give me a like on this video right up there. Give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're there. Why can't I see Famous's comment here? Because I can see it when I'm looking here, but I don't want to be looking away from the screen. Right. So I have to write here. Great to see you. famous. Yeah, so as I was saying, confidence is the undeniable key that a man needs to be able to move right, to move the way he should move in a relationship. And women love confidence. You know that. So this is a very strong lesson today, and it will be highly impactful. So buckle up, guys. Buckle up. Any woman who comes across this, your sons, your brothers, your cousins, your friends, and even a lot of husbands need to know this. And we need to understand it properly. So there are 3 things that I want us to keep in mind going into this live today. 3 things. You know what? I've made a lot of notes, and I'll be looking at my notes so that I don't miss any crucial point. I don't want to miss any single thing. Right? Yeah, this should allow me to. Okay. And I'll be looking at my notes so that I don't miss any crucial point. All right. Awesome. So I can chat here. Okay, so one of the first things that you have to keep in mind is, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And this does not apply to only Christians or people who believe in God. The way that you're thinking in your mind, what you're thinking about is what informs the way that you operate, the way that you move in this world, and the way that you come across in your relationships. It's always going to show, it's going to be apparent. You're not going to be able to disguise it. So we have to have the right thought in our mind about ourselves, and that will translate to whoever we're dealing with. They can tell. That's why when you employ all the advice that is given to you by all the things that you hear from people advising you, people can eventually tell that you are not being yourself, because you cannot pretend to be someone else 247, 365 days a year. So you better be yourself, but that's yourself that you're being has to be something that is presentable for another human to be happy with it, right? And how do we get there? As I was saying, there are 3 things that we have to keep in mind. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, you know, and we also know that we should guard our hearts, because it is out of the things that are in our heart that the things that happen in life spring out. Am I here twice? I hope not. Yeah, okay. Right? And some of you listening here, you already have experienced this. I have. And you now know that the reasons why you took some decisions that you took in the past in your life were because of the way that your mind, the way that, all right, yeah, you see that, thank you. The way that your mind was working at the time. And now that your mind, you've recalibrated your mind and the way that you think, you know that the things that you were thinking about before that led you to take those decisions, you won't be thinking like that anymore, because you found out that it was those thoughts that led you to take decisions that did not favor you. And so you have learned practically that having the right mindset influences your outcomes, right? And now we know that women love confident guys. And it's 1,000% true. Yeah? And that's why you hear sometimes people say that women love bad guys. Let me put it this way. It's not the badness that a healthy, sane woman likes. What she likes is that man that is moving with confidence. So you need to move with confidence if you're going to be able to inspire confidence in the next person. It's not even just that we want to just see someone with confidence. Even you yourself, you know that even when you're watching a child, or you're watching a teacher or a doctor, somebody who is going to give you advice on the way you're feeling, your illness or whatever it is, you want someone who shows that they have confidence. And that confidence brings respect. And that respect in a relationship, that's what transforms to love. And so this confidence, again, you cannot have it by pretending that you have confidence. You can pretend for a while, and the person can buy it for a while, but because you cannot pretend to be someone else for the rest of your life or 247, you will always slip here and there. So it's better to understand fundamentally how to actually begin to have this confidence. And you don't have to have anything extra to have the confidence. It doesn't have to be money or extra education, or let's even call it what people call class. But of course, those are not bad at all because you can polish up yourself. Why not? Polish up yourself. But you see, if everything you're doing is for external validation, you are still going to come back with your face on the floor. So now, how do you get this confidence? Let's get to it. As I said, I made notes. I want to make sure that you don't miss anything, right? So what I'm about to tell you today is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. But if you don't do it, you will not get the change that you desire in your life, not even just in your relationship with whoever that person is, in everything that you're doing, every other thing that concerns you. So keep in mind that things that are hard to do for a reason. It's because they get us better quality in everything. Because the lowest hanging fruits will always be plucked by people who won't even make people that don't even have value for it. If you see a mango tree with the succulent mango fruits hanging low, even if you don't really feel like eating a mango as you're passing by, even your head can knock that mango and it will fall on the ground and be wasted. So the lowest hanging fruits are going to be cut, pushed down, plucked by anybody, anything that has no value and is not even worth it. And so you want to raise yourself to higher value so that you can have a higher quality person interested in you and also have a higher quality relationship. And it's real and you can't deny it. You know that the less confident you feel about yourself, you're going to try to go for something that you feel that you'll be able to control and manage. And that's you already knowing that you are of lower quality. And so you're going for something that is of lower quality as well. All right. So nobody should feel bad, feel like, oh, I didn't come from a wealthy background or I'm not wealthy myself, because it's not anything that comes from your outside. Outside of you, eventually we are going to still dump you because it is you. You are the one who matters. The day that you're sick, whatever it is that you have on the outside of you, you're not going to be able to provide it. So you are the one who matters. Once a person, another human being respects you, they respect you for a reason and it stays and you don't have to pretend about it. Okay, and now, the problem we have with relationships is that too many people treat it like we can just throw spaghetti at the wall and hope that something will stick. But unfortunately, there is a science to it, but it's not hard. It just takes time, practice, and understanding. There's a science to having good quality relationships. Of course, sometimes we can get lucky. Sometimes we do get lucky, and we happen to meet someone who we vibe with on the same level, and we can go through life and manage our challenges, and things will be fine. But if we want to be able to not just bank on luck, then we can also restructure our mindsets, right? And whoever we meet, wherever we go, we are going with ourselves, or we're going with our minds, and that is what's going to play out. That's why you hear sometimes they say you can change location, you can go away. Yes, yeah, famous, that's it. Low confidence people, let me read it here. Low confidence people want to play it safe. Exactly, you want to play it safe. Yeah, yeah, that is true. And that's the reason why even today, before I came on this live, somebody made a post where we now had a conversation about it. And the person actually said that it's better to just, after being hurt, it's better to just decide to not have relationships, you know? So I said, but you cannot do that. Why don't we instead figure out what it is that puts us in that place, right? Because every time that we have a relationship with someone else and something goes awry, okay, let me not say every time, but a lot of the times, we must have contributed to it in one way or the other. Even when we think we're being nice and we're being good, maybe it's even that niceness and goodness in the wrong time that contributes to us getting into a position where we get hurt. So if we can own our own parts, if we can learn what it is that we did before, then we will be able to understand better when we find ourselves with someone else or in other situations. It's always better to continue learning and continue keeping us instead of blaming. Blaming doesn't get us anywhere. You can have a temporary balm, a temporary plaster. We'll blame that person for what happened. But what was my role? Right? Except when I'm a child or maybe I'm sick and helpless. Every time that I'm interacting with people, everything that I do is part of what creates what we eventually get. It is. So yeah, famous very that's it. When you have low confidence, you want to play it safe. You don't want to take even what you know that you want. You won't go for that because you want to play it safe because you don't feel like you have enough. And so we're depriving ourselves. So why don't we just do prepare ourselves for what we want so that we can actually go for what we want, go for it confidently. Now, how do we get let me read a bit from here, right? Your safest bet is to go by the science instead of just hoping that things will work out for you, right? And first of all, how do we get this? It starts by knowing yourself, actually knowing yourself and boldly being yourself. But how can you boldly be yourself if you're not proud of yourself? So you see that it gives us a responsibility to be proud of ourselves. So I have to look at myself and whatever it is that is making me feel that I am not enough, then I have to now start working on those things. You see, when we don't think like this, we will remain the way we are. We will not improve. There's no self-improvement. Yeah, let me see what Famous said. Famous says if you water down it, you can't do that. If water drowns your child, exactly, does that mean you won't drink water anymore? Exactly, right? Like when the person is saying to play, because you see a lot of people say, you see a lot of people online now. We have to be careful with the things that we're seeing online. You see people saying it's better to be alone. I even see women saying, now that I'm alone, I'm alone, I've been alone for how many years? I have peace. What will even motivate you to start saying that? If you say you have peace when you're alone, does it mean that as a human being, we know that that's not the way we were created? We were created as social beings. We want interaction. Famous, that's perfect. Thank you so much. You can't just say because you're afraid of getting hurt or you don't understand how to have a relationship. You will now, because your child drowned, you would decide that you won't drink water anymore. You know? So we can't say we're going to abandon relationships because people get hurt in relationships. What is it that caused you to get hurt in the other one? Right? And everybody else is not going to hurt everybody. Because even if I had a bad relationship, I can see down the street a lot of people who have good relationships. So if they can have it, it means that it's possible. So the solution is not to say now that I will no longer have relationships. That is taking a defeatist stance. And that is what we do when we don't feel enough. But instead, let's equip ourselves. And this one applies to everybody. Get that understanding of how to be yourself and how to show up well. And how do we do this? Guess what? We take things for granted because they're so simple, they're so easy, and they're so available. When we're in the mindset that we don't have something, we keep on thinking of ourselves as not having it. How do I get it? How do I get it? Meanwhile, the things that are very easy, you know sometimes that even people that are close to you, they have a problem and you have a solution for it. But when you provide that solution, they ignore it. Meanwhile, it's the same solution that you give to people who are not close to you. Give that solution to strangers and they use that solution. The reason is because they're thinking that you're always there. This person is so close to me and is so available, and I can always, exactly, a defeated approach. Yeah. And I can always, thank you so much, Famous. And I can always access this person later and see if this thing they're offering me is going to work. And that is the thing we do. See, our source of confidence is right there. Now, I'm going to tell you that it is between you and God. And the funny thing is, you don't even have to be a Christian. You don't even have to be a believer in God to understand this and to make this mindset work. But it is better, even better if you are. Let me explain how it is. Okay? And I'm not making these things up. I know this for a fact because this has worked for people. It's transformational. It has worked for me as well. Somewhere in on the channel, you'll see a video that I made where I titled that video, can't remember now. I will put that video in the link under this video when I'm done this live. I want you to understand how you can see that everything is between you and God for those who believe in God. And if you don't believe in God, you will see how to even transform into that mindset where you can be in control of the way you're feeling about yourself and not be needing the validation of the next person, because needing the validation of the next person is what puts us in a place where we are in struggle. And by this, I don't mean that we'll be careless about what the next person thinks and so we'll behave carelessly. No, not at all. But what I am saying is that we can have peace of mind. We will no longer be in a place where we are struggling and worrying how this person is seeing me. Because imagine if all my thoughts tell me that all that matters is God seeing me right? And I know that this person, other people don't have the power to send me to heaven or to hell. Do you understand? So for me, it's like, why am I going to spend my life and give myself a headache in everything that I do, trying to impress other people, right? So yeah. So once we can get into that mindset, right, and then we also understand that I also look at myself and I see myself as, am I actually a valuable person? Like the way that I carry myself, the things that I do, am I someone that I will be proud of? The moment that I know that I'll be proud of myself and God will be proud of me, I will not be having the headache of the next person's validation as long as I am moving right and doing the right things. That is why it should be, it's accessible to all of us to have this self-confidence. And if there's anything that I know about myself that needs improvement, that needs working on, I go and work on it. I can't escape by putting my head under the pillow or burying my head under the sand, or expecting people to just accept me like that, right? If I know that I need to improve myself, okay? Yeah, so, and then we cannot pretend that we actually have that confidence because, as I said, you cannot pretend all the time. You have to be a real person. And when you're being a real person, the truth is that when you're a real person, and this is the way that you move, you'll be able to easily identify other people who are real people. But you see, when we go into relationships trying to portray ourselves a certain way because I want to give this person what I know that they will need or want from me, to like me, to be happy with me, I am going to fail. You know why? Because even the other person, if they have this kind of mindset as well, I can never truly know them. I can never really truly know what it is that they want from me. And so I am always going to fall short here and there. Meanwhile, I'm falling short on something that I was only pretending about because I'm presenting something to them that isn't me, whereas I could have saved myself the stress, been myself so that they will actually know me. And then they will know what they can expect from me. And straight from the get-go, if what they know about me is not what they really want, right? This is how we set ourselves up. When I go and present myself to someone as something else, and they begin to think that everything about me is what they really want, tomorrow they're going to figure out that, no, this is not what I thought this person was, because there's no way I'm going to be able to consistently 247, 365 days a year be someone else. I will be slipping up here and there. So it's better for me to just be myself from the get-go, right? But to be myself, I have to be sure that I polish myself as well. And when you are being yourself, you will be able to easily know that someone else is being themselves. Also, they will be encouraged by knowing that you are an authentic person. They'll be encouraged to be themselves. And this is how we build trust. When I know that this person is authentic, when I do things that they don't like, or when I do things that they find uncomfortable, or things that they find to not be right, they will open their mouths. They won't be pretending because they want everything to go fine. They don't want to rock the boat. They will open their mouths and say to me, hey, Uzo, this thing you did, this is the way it is, So this is how we encourage trust, communication, and authenticity. The more authentic you are in a relationship, right, the more trust you build and the more respect. If a person trusts you, that's where respect comes from. I can trust this person. Well, how can I trust you when all you do is, this is why people say they don't like nice guys. It's not that. It's because when you're just being nice by mouth to me, I know that I can't trust you. So I don't feel comfortable with you. And we know that we want a man that we can feel comfortable with. So those are all the things that come into into the play of women don't like nice guys. It's because I cannot trust you. I don't know where you stand. I actually know that in that place and that place I messed up, but you never said anything about it, right? all of a sudden you find me going to another man to get what I need from a man from him because I can't get it from you. Right? So that's it. So remove that mindset. Stand in that confidence of being able to speak up. You're going to be appreciated for it. As long as you don't do it in a, you're not rude, you're not arrogant, you're not treating me as if I'm just like, you know everything. You know, it's in the tone, right? This is how you take control. So you softly, like a gentle giant, take control of this relationship. Gently, nothing is by force, right? Everything is by intelligence. And you present yourself as somebody who is knowledgeable and sensible, and you only mean the best for this person. You mean the best for your relationship, and you don't want a person who is going out there and presenting herself in a way that even you will not be proud of. So you need to speak up about it. This is how we grow into a man, right? And let me see. Yeah, so no play acting, because when we're truly ourselves, then we'll be able to truly get the picture of what we should, of what we have going on here. We both know each other, right? But then you need to ask yourself some questions. Are there areas of yourself that you know that you need to polish up, right? Is there anything that's happened in your life? Do you have any baggage, maybe from upbringing or from experiences in the past? Is there anything about you that makes you feel little or unaccomplished? This is where you take that thing and look at yourself and just give it to God and say, look, there's nothing that I can do about this thing. This thing happened. Or if there's something you can do about it, I already talked about that, you go and polish yourself. Give this thing to God. And once you've given it to God, you know, I can now move forward in this life without worrying about this thing, because this is something that is now out of my control. Going forward, I polish myself, I do better, and that's it. And anybody who doesn't like it can go and eat grass. If they don't like it or don't like me for it, they can go and eat grass. Because as I was placed in this world, I was created and put here. I cannot leave the intentions and plans of my creator for my life and be worrying, be stuck worrying on things that have happened. I cannot allow these things to be getting in my way. Yesterday, I saw a story about a guy whose father had denied when he was an infant. The father never took him in. The mother had him, and he grew up. He grew into a man. Now, this guy, when he met a lady that he wanted to marry, he was a lady from a very nice background, and the family even took him in as their own. They actually said to him that they will take him in as their own, as he had no real family. And you will think that this man will be happy now because now I have a family. But you see, what happens is a lot of us also don't take cognizance of psychology. We cannot think that just because I'm being good to this person, it makes everything perfect. Because we are human beings and we are all complex and we're coming from different backgrounds and walks of life. Some people have had some experiences that have traumatized them, that have messed with their psyche. And so this person's brain has been changed somewhat. The way that they see life has been changed somewhat. So this guy, instead of being happy and content with this, his wife's family now that has accepted him, now I have a family. No, he was still in that pain of not feeling good enough or big enough in this world. So he hadn't talked to himself to realize, look, I didn't control that. I'm not the cause of that. I was created for a purpose in this life and I'm going to live that purpose. No, but he was stuck on the pain of not having a family. And also, probably, this guy didn't know that he could turn to God and say, okay, I don't have a family. You are my family, right? For those who believe in God. And so, because of that, he wanted to always show himself to be big. And in this relationship, he started to become domineering to this woman, thinking that that's how I can show that I'm actually something. And the woman also had a good job. She got to the point where he started to beat her because he would tell her how to dress, how to do, don't do this, don't look at this person, don't do that, don't go there. He wanted to control her because he didn't feel big enough. So let's not overlook the importance of psychology. Psychology is not going to just go away because we're being nice to someone. If they have some serious issues that they're dealing with. We need to understand a person. That's another reason why we cannot get into relationships with people quickly, because I just like this person. They seem like a good person. They seem, because that guy was actually very good and gentle for 7 months. They got married after 7 months, right? So the person can present as being nice and good and all that, but if you don't know the person's background and how they actually see life and how they actually see themselves, you'll get into that relationship. You'll be thinking that because I see this girl and I really like her and I will treat her well, you think that everything will be perfect. But no, psychology is very important, because if the person is carrying baggage and they bring it into that relationship, they're going to play it out in that relationship, and maybe something that you're not capable of handling. You may not have the, yeah. Well, yeah, you say, wow, what's that? The guy, or what's that? What are you worrying about? Yes, this is the truth. We have to take psychology into cognizance. And okay, famous, you live in North America, I know. And you know that that's one of the things that when we come across people who grew up here in North America, we know that they're not in a hurry to invite you to their house, right? They will see even people that you talk with every day, maybe you've been working with them every day, they don't invite you to their house, unlike the way we are in Africa, right? And that's because these people are very conscious of people can maybe presenting as something else, but they may be sick, because they also know that a lot of people are on medication to handle themselves, right? A lot of people are on medication to keep themselves calm. So someone might be bipolar, and when you're every time you're interacting with them, they appear normal, but you don't know that they struggle. So that's why we should take our time to understand the psychology of a person. We can't ask a person directly, do you feel small or do you feel confident? You can't. Even when you do, they're not going to give you the direct answer. And if whatever they say to you might be a lie. And even if they tell you, yes, I do feel small, you may not really get it, because in their everyday interactions with you, that's not what they're portraying. So we have to take our time to try and understand what is going on in the mind of anybody that we meet. Never mind that. Exactly. They don't invite, yeah, yeah. They don't invite you. They don't get that close to you because they don't know who you are. And they themselves might also know themselves, that they know that they're not very well, they're not very balanced. And so they don't want to go and show up themselves, right? So we need to keep psychology in mind. So it's not always, because a lot of guys, when they see a woman that they like, and this has happened to me so many times, they see a woman that they like, they are so convinced that because I like this woman and because I know I will treat her well, everything will be fine. She's not going to lack for anything. She'll be fine. And they want to insist on having a relationship, right? Without even really getting to know you. And I'm perplexed. I'm like, why do you want to get into a relationship with someone that you don't know that well? Do you understand? And their mindset, they're not coming from a really bad place all the time. Their mindset is, I know that I like this lady and I know that I will treat her well. So I know she will be satisfied. But you see, life doesn't work like that, because you don't also know where this lady is coming from and you don't know what she's looking for, right? First of all, she needs to have that trust in you, and you will erode that trust that she could get in you by being in a hurry to get into a relationship with her. That's one thing. You will make her, if she's a really sensible person, you will make her wonder, how safe is this man? This man is going to open the door to our home to people, strangers that shouldn't be in our home, strangers that are going to come in here and kill us, because he's not approaching things in a very wise way. Do you understand? He wants to get into a relationship with someone that he doesn't really know. You allow people to, be wise and intelligent in your movements, in everything that you're doing, right? Think about the impact of it. And imagine if this lady also agrees to even have a relationship with you when you don't know her very well. Do you know that in your subconscious, there are two things that will be working? Oh, I'm so lucky, I'm so great, this person just, without knowing me so well, agreed. Or maybe you're thinking it's love at first sight. But later on, you're going to eventually, because things will start to unravel, and you will now get to know yourselves better. And then you will now begin to question her judgments in other things that she will do. And this is how trust begins to get eroded. Because you start to say to yourself, who did I even get myself involved with? If this is the way she takes decisions, she didn't even wait before getting to know me, and for us to see if eventually that very thing that made you feel happy for this relationship is going to be part of what will be causing problems, because you will now be losing trust and regard for this person, and vice versa, the other way. So we need to take our time, right? But when we don't take our time, we're coming from a place where, because we are social beings and we really want connection, you're coming from a place where you feel like you really need somebody. And that is the thing that I'm telling you, that the moment that you stop seeing yourself as as needing, the moment that you start seeing yourself in that way of God created me, right? And if you don't believe in God, the reason I keep mentioning people who don't believe in God is because I believe that love is for everybody, right? Everybody, for those of us who believe in God, everybody is God's child. So the message isn't only for the people who are, right? But anyway, if God created me, and another thing, God created, you see, we are told that you are created in the image of God. So if you are created in the image of God, how dare you go groveling? How dare you go treating yourself as, let me bend myself this way and contort myself this way to make people like me and accept me? No. And when you do that, there's an exchange in energy. It's a transaction that we're doing. We don't know. When I meet someone and I am consistently and constantly bending myself to please them, just to make them happy. If I bend myself to make them happy because I believe that this is what I should do, that's a different thing from bending myself when I don't even want to do that thing. That's another thing with women don't like nice guys, because the person will notice that you are bending and contorting yourself to doing things that you don't want to do, really, and the respect that they can have for you can start getting degraded. So, but if you remember that you were made in the image of God, if you know, if you don't think that, then just take your Bible and throw it away. Throw it away. But if you really think that you were made in the image of God, and guess what? You even have to think it. You know why you have to think it? I'm sorry, they don't teach you this in church, right? These things are read, but I think it enters our ear, one ear, and it leaves from the other ear. I can tell you because I know myself that sometimes there was a time when I had a particular thing that I was struggling with. And because of that, I took decisions from a place of not seeing myself as a person who was made in the image of God. But that cannot happen tomorrow. Instead, just kill me. I will be ready to just finish me, because it's like, you cannot, no, this, I cannot take this, So now you when you start thinking like that, you will stop, slowly you will stop being a person who is reliant on other people's validation and acceptance, right? And the more you are like that, in fact, the more confidence will be oozing from you, and the more confidence oozes from you, the more you yourself, that you like seeing people that are confident, because you feel like they have something, they've got it together. The less you are thinking about other people, the more confident you are, especially when you're working on yourself. This is self-improvement 101, right? And you just be upping your game and upping yourself. And people that see you, you are attractive to people, because they also know they can trust you, because they know that you are not going to be lying or pretending to be something else. They know they can turn their back, even have a conversation with you, make a plan with you, and you are most likely going to honor that plan as much as you can, because you are not a person who is giving them pretense, because you are able to be boldly who you are. So it is in being boldly who you are, that is where that confidence begins to ooze out. I'm very sure that I can just close this video now if I want, because you've got that message, but I have more, because I made a full note. I made a whole episode for you. So I say, no play acting, no being a good person or a tough person, just be yourself, right? Be who you were created to be, right? And just polish up yourself always as you go along. So that baggage that you're carrying, remember that baggage, don't let it get in the way, because it does not define you. Something happened in the past, right? And nobody has the right to come and hold a gun to your head and say, you must continue to live in this way because this is who you were. This is what happened to you. This is the person that you were treated as. No. You have the complete liberty and license to be an improved version of yourself. Nobody can hold you to the past. Yeah, nobody can hold you to anything that you feel makes you lower. If you're that man who the father never accepted, and you grew up without a father and without a family, nobody can tell you must continue to look at yourself as small. No, I'm here for a purpose. I have a purpose in life, and that's what I'm facing, right? And anybody who doesn't like it can go and do what? Eat grass. They can go and eat grass. They don't own my life. I will be who I was purposed to be, and I will live my purpose in life, right? But we don't come with a place of with an air of pride. We just come with an air of, I know who I am. I know who I am, and I am going to be that. And that is what it is. I don't owe you any explanations. As long as I am being decent and I am treating everybody with civility, I am being decent. I'm a decent human being. That's all I owe anybody, and that's all I owe human beings in this world. And so what's next here? I say, yeah, so when you're being authentic, both of you can know yourselves better and know your weaknesses and your triggers. And when you know a person's weakness, if it's someone that you care about, what do? You work with them on that weakness. As long as it's something that you can manage. I don't ever recommend that you do anything that drags you under, because a drowning person who doesn't know how to swim, if you're trying to help them, they're going to pull you down under with them. Can I manage this weakness? For instance, a man who meets a girl who didn't have the father in their life, maybe the mom was handling this girl and the siblings, and they had such a tough time. And so these people have learned to toughen themselves. You know, this lady knows she's a tough lady, and because she had to take care of herself, she approaches things with a masculine approach, kind of like she doesn't listen, she takes charge of things. And if you meet this type of woman, don't be in a hurry to say to yourself, when I am appearing as a knight to help her, to show her that things can be like this and someone can love her and all that things will be fine. No, you need to be sure that you can actually handle this lady's psychological baggage, because if she's already presenting herself like that, this is what she has had to do for her life. She has had to toughen up. Maybe to get things done, she had to, she had no one else to turn to. So she had to be tough in the way she approaches things. And she will likely bring those things to your relationship, because this is just what she's used to. This is the way the brain has turned itself to be able to cope. It's a self-coping thing. Now remember, in your mind, you'll be thinking she's had a tough life, so she will actually want something that is soft. And you're not a psychologist, so you may not know that she may actually be wanting something that is tough as well, because that's what she's used to. Or for some people, they want something that is soft because they no longer want that toughness. So you don't know what she wants. So you need to approach with care, right? um, I will be the first to say, don't let us not cast people in a particular character because we hear that their background is this and that. Because some people grow up wanting to now be the opposite of everything that they grew up with in their background. So let's not be in a hurry. We have to watch the particular person and everything that they do and understand their weakness and open our mouths and say, I know that this is, or I believe that when you do this or you are like this, it is coming from this, that has happened with you. That is why it's important that we're authentic in the way that we show up, so that the next person can understand where we're coming from, so that they know how they can now manage the issues that we come with, because most of us are coming with one issue or the other. Even what you don't think is an issue might be an issue. Even the person who is feeling confident, what if they're coming across as being cocky? So let's just show up the way we are, and then be able to take constructive criticism. It's not criticism, it's critic. Let's take constructive let's have constructive communication when the person, if we care about the person, because sometimes someone that you don't care about is trying to tell you something and you really don't want to hear it, and they feel like, I'm only trying to help. Yes, if the person doesn't want to hear from, maybe they're not interested in having a smooth relationship with you, so maybe they want to maintain it that way because they really don't care to nurture this relationship. So let's not always be in a hurry to think, I just want us to have a good, and then she doesn't care, or he doesn't. Maybe they don't care, right? Because maybe they know that this is not working for them for this reason and that reason, and so they don't want to do all that kind of investment in this thing. People also have a choice because they know what they want, they know where they're coming from, and they know what they need. Let's always be considerate. And you see, that's another thing where when you are thinking like this and you're conscious, when you're thinking like this and you're conscious, that everybody has a purpose, when you know that you have a purpose in life, you're created for a purpose, you will never forget that the next person also has a purpose. So you're always going to be mindful of them in the things that you do. You're not going to disregard their own needs or their own thoughts about how they have a purpose that they're pursuing. You want yours to be important the same way you want theirs to be important, right? So having this mindset, having that mindset in approaching things that we do is really the best, because that way it makes it easy for us to carry the next person along. And I say always that in relationships, a lot of us are selfish, but we don't know. We're selfish because we just think that we're doing the best, we're doing everything right, and this person is ungrateful. They're not seeing it, they're not seeing everything I'm doing. Whereas in that time that you're thinking you're doing everything right, did you stop for a moment to think, to ask, to find out, to check whether this person is fine with these things that I think I'm doing right? Because you don't want to waste all your time, efforts, resources, giving yourself all these tasks to do these things for this person to be happy, and yet they don't even seem to care. You know, let me give you a wild one. This is a wild example. I actually went to this audition, and a guy there, when people were now looking, when it was time to leave, that's here in Canada. A guy there said he could give he could give some people a lift, right? And then people were now talking about getting a ride from someone and all that. And then somebody asked a question. I don't remember what it was, and a guy said, there is nothing wrong if someone, actually a real person, a real human being, said this, that there's nothing wrong if he's giving a ride to this lady and he likes her, and he decides to stop over at his house knowing that he wants to keep her in his house. This is a real human being that said this, right? Because he knows that everything that he does with her, to her, for her, is because he cares about her, he loves her, and so he's not being a bad person. I was really astounded. Well, you see, that's why I say, talking about psychology again, everybody is not thinking or reasoning on the same standards as you. I know this is a little extreme, yeah, but that's, it happens. It shows up in even little things that we do, right? Because you'll be doing all these things and you feel like everything I'm doing, since it's out of the goodness of my heart and since it's because I care about this person, it's fine. No, it's not, right? It's not, because you don't know. You have to also take into cognizance the other person's feelings and what they need and what they want, because they're an adult and they know what they've been through and they know what they need in life. So let's carry each other along. And we can only do that if we're authentic and we show up as who we are. But I know that that is really hard. But hard things are the things that get you. You cannot get diamond or gold without passing through the fire. So hard things are the things that really get us to be the better quality, that will get us to become that gem that we want to be. And everybody appreciates a gem. So let's go through that fire and put ourselves through that hard thing and develop ourselves, so that when we're showing up with full confidence, knowing that, yes, I am at the best that I can be right now. I'm my best version. And if you don't like it, you can eat grass. I'm out of here, because I'm not going to be consulting myself to bend to your own validation. After all, you don't have any power over my life, you know. And even if you choose to be bending to somebody's validation, do you know that that means that for the rest of your life you're a slave? And that's why you cannot keep it up, because you can't do that 247, 365 days a year. You're going to give up. You're going to, even if you don't give up, they even see. I was saying earlier that I can tell that this person keeps on bending and consulting themselves. They're not being themselves. Therefore, my trust and respect will even, my regard for them will go down, because I cannot trust them. So any which way you do it, you still lose. So your best bet is to show up as yourself. And if you're not proud of yourself, then make yourself proud of yourself, right? As long as you're proud of yourself and you feel that God is proud of you as you are, your creator is proud of you, that's all you need. That's all you owe anyone. Got it? Right? So let me see. What else did I write here? I say everything that is outside of you will never be able to create a relationship that you crave. You need to know yourself, polish yourself, and present as the best version of you. That's where it all takes off. You have to accept yourself as you are. You have to accept yourself first before you can expect someone else to accept you. That's why somebody does not accept you, because they can see that you haven't even accepted yourself, right? And when you accept yourself, you move around with this aura of confidence that inspires more confidence from the people around you who are interacting with you. Yeah? So a man who is confident, let me read this. I said, let me ask you, if you know yourself and accept yourself, are you going to be the type of man who, when a woman does things that are disrespectful to you, would you keep quiet and swallow it? Or would you instead be trying to please her even more in order to keep her? No. A man who is confident does not act in that way. Remember, this is not anything to do with this is not anything to do with arrogance and pride. This is just you knowing and being relaxed and confident in who you are, right? And that gives you better results and better respect. Respect is important. It's important for you to have respect in your relationship. If you don't have it, you're going to have a lot of struggles. I am telling you how you can position your mindset so that you can have respect for yourself, and that will show up in your relationships. And I said again, so you're not going to be the type who will settle back and accept this disrespect. You will call her out on it, on that misbehavior, and you will take the steps to address it. If you know yourself and respect yourself, are you going to be someone who will be making a spectacle? I'm sorry, I'm getting a message. Who will be making a spectacle of yourself when things happen in a way that you're not happy with? No, you will not be that person. You wouldn't. So you see, knowing yourself and accepting yourself, knowing that you are the best version of yourself at the time, is the ultimate in confidence and peace of mind and in being in charge. That is how you're in charge, by knowing yourself, right? Not by being braggadocious, not by being arrogant, not by being rude, right? Not by being prideful. So I said, take an example from this live that I'm doing here right now, because I know that I know what I'm talking about. That guy who said, just forget about relationships and just live without thinking about relationships, or the women who say, oh, I have peace now because I am single and I've been single and I intend to remain single. I don't need anybody. I don't, and so this thing I'm doing is of no use because it's better to just stay without relationships. You understand? I can't listen to that because I know I am fully confident in what I am saying, and I know that it's transformational because it's happened for me and it's happened for a lot of people that I've shared it with. And so when I hear things that I know are not, that's what happens when you have that assurance and the confidence that you know what you're about. You don't even spend time to have any kind of argument. The most you do is you tell them this is what it is. This thing you're saying, I disagree with it. And if they continue, you say, okay, that's fine. Do you understand? So that's another thing. You hear them say that a man who is truly confident, you don't go arguing back and forth with a woman. You don't do that, right? But if you're truly, truly confident of yourself, you will state a fact. And that is what you know for sure that what you're stating makes sense. That's why, again, you have to watch yourself when you're the best version of yourself. So when you state that fact, you're not going to be going back and forth, shouting back and forth. You're not going to do that. You're going to be a man. And the person will know. It's like when they say silence is the best answer for a fool, right? When you are going back and forth with someone on something that you know better, it kind of feels like you are trying to get them to validate for you that you know what you know. But when you know it, you don't need that validation. You just state it and then you move on, right? So I'm sure that makes sense. So now I said, yeah, so I don't spend time with that because I know that what they're saying is in fact not true, because I know it works, right? So because the truth is, whatever you believe, whatever you actually believe, you're going to be getting the outcomes. And that's why I woke up this morning. I woke up this morning to see that. I don't know whoever is watching. Let me see if there's any message there. I woke up this morning to see that people who believed that Olumba was going to resurrect, they worshipped him as a god because he declared to them that he was God, and they believed it. And I don't know how many years ago, this man has been dead for, I'm sure, over a decade. And these people have been waiting for him to resurrect. So this morning we woke up to see that the people who are now worshiping his son are fighting with the people who are waiting for him to wake up. And they are breaking things in their building, in their place of worship and all that. So can you believe that this is what living human beings are doing? That just goes to show that your perception is not necessarily reality. But if this is what you believe, you are going to move and be in it. That's why we have to be careful. We have to guard our hearts for whatever is inside there. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And that's what you're going to portray. That's why you need to learn to have the right things in your mind, because it will show up in anybody that you're relating with. They're going to see it. We cannot pretend, we cannot be who we're not for 247 or 365 days a year, right? We're going to always eventually show our true colors. And so that is it. So those who want better results will learn what to do to get better results. And that's for yourself, right? So let me see what else I have here. Yeah. So having that confidence keeps you in control, and being in control shows that you have confidence. It's like, is it the chicken or the egg? Which one came first? It's both ways. So they work together. You must really grasp this thing so that your experiences will change for the best. Confidence gives you the foundation to keep going strong, and it is sexy. It's sexy. You must build true confidence. Yeah. So no fake surface acting, guys. You don't try to be arrogant or prideful. We're going to know. Everybody's going to know that this is not you, because there will be circumstances and things that will show up. Incidents will happen. Challenges will come up, and we'll know that, hey, this person doesn't really have confidence. Something is going to happen, even in the way that you talk. When I do something, or when I behave in a certain way, the way that you respond to it is going to let me know that this is just arrogance speaking. This is not confidence, because a person who has confidence has respect for themselves. And you cannot really have respect for yourself without having respect for the next person. Do you know that? Seriously. Every time that you see people treating people with disrespect, something is going on inside. Something is going on the inside. That is why it's important that we polish ourselves to be the best version of ourselves, so that we walk around with that confidence and respect for ourselves, and it translates in the way that I talk to the next person. I had a guy that sent me a message after we had been chatting for a while. We were chatting about, we met on dealing with relationship issues, where I was trying to explain that money does not keep a woman. And this guy needed help. And he just sent me a message, just because we were chatting, call me tomorrow. And I was like, that is so uncivilized. You know, you don't just come out and say to someone, call me tomorrow, like I'm owing him money or something, you know? So I said to myself, the reason this man is doing this thing is probably because he feels that he needs to exert authority. He needs to show that he's in charge. And the moment that you do that, it means that you are just trying to do something on the surface, right? So you are giving off something that is on the surface, and already you turn off whoever it is that is dealing with you, because you're coming across as rude. Because if you have respect for yourself, the way that you will treat people is the way that you want them to treat you, because you don't want people to disrespect you. So because you don't want people to disrespect you, you know how to behave. Do you see that it's always give and take? And that is a fundamental principle of life. It's give and take. That's why we say you will reap what you sow. Those things are not mystical. This is the way that it happens, right? So already I can tell that this person doesn't have regard for himself. He doesn't have respect for himself. And that's probably why what happened to him that made him feel small in his previous encounters is now making him behave like this. But instead of going to now learn, it is me. That's why it always comes back to us. So it is I who need to watch myself, improve on myself. And when I improve on myself, it's going to show up in the way that I relate with other people, right? Because if you truly have respect for yourself, you don't want people to treat you disrespectfully. And the moment you know you don't want people to treat you disrespectfully, you are going to treat them in the way that you want them to treat you back. So when we see people who are braggadocious, when we see people who are egotistical, When we see people who display a superiority behavior, it's coming from feeling a little small. And so they are now just pretending, trying to cover up that smallness. And that's pretext. Instead of getting the real thing, that pretext is going to throw off the people that you're dealing with. And so what you can, the only thing you can get from them is people who are pretending to care or even fear, but the real respect you won't get. Whereas getting that real respect simply comes from you planting it, giving it to the next person so they can give it back to you. And the moment that when you're giving people respect and they're not giving you respect, you move yourself. You move yourself away. You don't try to convince them to give you respect. You just remove yourself. They need to understand that you don't deal like this. And that is another way that we get respect. Make it clear. When we talk about having boundaries or stating what we want and making it clear, it's not about shouting it. It's not about insisting with words, because I can insist, but it doesn't have to be with words. Because if I am still there and taking it and keep on telling you over and over and over, what's the point? Because I am just telling you over and over. I am shouting, I am raising dust, I am throwing the roof of the house, but the same thing keeps happening. So the action I need to take is to insist on the boundaries by removing myself from that thing, because you need to understand that I will not allow this to happen to me. That is how we keep boundaries, right? And that is how we maintain that respect that we want. This is the way to do it. I'm not going to do it by, as a man, beating a woman or yelling at her or shouting or insisting that she respects me. I am going to shift myself, withdraw myself from her disrespect. That is the way that we do it. Now, I say you may need to rewatch this particular video every day for 1 whole month so that you can get all the nuggets here, right? So, yeah, I say, how confident do you think you would appear when you have an attitude that actually continually conveys the message that you are waiting to get respect from people? Versus compare that to when you have a behavior that conveys a message that I am not waiting for your validation. Do you understand? It's like when people notice that you notice that when people actually behave like they don't care, then people are more careful around them. That's the irony, the contradiction. The more that you're trying to get them to care about you and what you're presenting, the less, because they always feel like, okay, this person really wants my validation. I can come back to give it later. I can come back to give attention to them later. Oh, they're there, they're waiting for me. But when you are not waiting for it, and it is not again by pretending, by taking all those gimmicks that people teach, where they say, act like you don't care, and that can sure work temporarily, right? And as I said earlier in another video, it can work, and it will only work with people who themselves are not even what you want, because those people, anybody who really has a healthy mindset is not going to be wanting to run after somebody who is mistreating them like they don't care. Why would I do that? You understand? So you only want people who are also from a healthy mindset. And that's not someone who is trying to now get your attention because you're mistreating them. Right? So you're going to get two things here. It's going to be temporary because you can't continue pretending, or you exhaust yourself. And secondly, if you do get it, it's going to be from someone who you don't even want in the first place eventually, because you don't have regard for them, because you can see that something is wrong with this person. They don't have respect for themselves. So it doesn't work. So forget about gimmicks. You need to get the real thing, the real transformational message, and let it transform your life and your mindset. And it is for real transformation only comes from the mindset, it comes from the mind, it comes from within. So it is within that you need to get that work done and then change your life forever and ever. So you're not going to be going into relationship A, relationship B, relationship C, trying to get them to chase after you or to be interested in you. You understand how to, it is you just work on yourself. We don't work on other people. We don't try to manipulate other people. We don't try to perform witchcraft and love spells on other people. We just work on ourselves, from our mindsets, and all that translates in everything that we do on the outside. We can never hide who we are. We can't. We succeed momentarily, briefly, maybe even up to some people. Some people forget that marriage, right? For those who are working towards marriage is just, it's not a destination. It's only, in fact, the second step after you've gotten to know the person. So when we succeed in or even having the relationship is not the destination. That's only the second step. Because when you've succeeded in tricking that person into thinking that you're who you're not, eventually we begin to unravel. And don't forget, you're also going to get something that you don't know, because if you're not authentic, you will not know how to identify inauthentic people. So you are also going to get something that is eventually going to start unraveling. And now both of you are watching two strangers, and then the struggle begins. So marriage is not a destination, right? It's only one of the steps. So let's not forget that. So I'm going to read the rest here. I say confidence shines through when people know for sure that you're not seeking for their validation. Right there. But you cannot have it when you cannot accept yourself. You cannot carry yourself in that aura. No, you can't. So again, you see that your problems are, or our problems are, from the absence of us being our original self. Right? Because we cannot fake confidence 24/7, and if we try it, we will fail like a pack of cards. Because a man who is confident in himself will have less incidence of losing his temper. Yeah, because he's in control of things, he's processing things properly. He will have less, he's polished himself, he's worked on himself, so he has a reasoning capacity. So he will have less incidence of throwing tantrums and losing his temper. He will have less incidence of getting into a jealous rage, and he will have less incidence of having controlling behavior. I don't want this thing to be too long, so I need to hurry it up. And then he will have less incidence of acting like an arrogant prick. He will have less incidence of rudeness. He will also have less incidence of being fearful and uncomfortable and timid. And most of all, this man right here that we're talking about will have less likelihood of choosing a woman who disrespects him. Right? I insist, I shout all the time, a man should not be with a woman who disrespects him, because you cannot have a good relationship. You can't. Of course, a woman shouldn't be with a man who disrespects her, right? But because I am focusing on men, and the reason I am focusing on men is because I am watching the world and I can see that there's so much talk about women empowerment, and we're reading these things wrong. And so women empowerment is only for us to be more empowered, but it is not now for us to come and exert power over other people and over the men in our lives. Because naturally, you may not believe this, you may not accept it, a man is the leader. Even nature has made him that way because he's stronger. If we're living in a house and there is noise in the night, it is him who is going to go out to go and find out what is happening, right? So anyhow they are selling it to you, don't drink that Kool-Aid. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. That man, there is nothing like, we are equal. Yes, we're equal, but that equality has a boundary. It does. But it is never for the man to be domineering and be dominating the woman as well. He's carrying her along. It's like having two leaders in a ship. Somebody has to lead. There has to be one captain, right? There has to be a captain. And it has to be the man, because the moment that it is skewed the other way, see, women are coming with a lot of other things. The way a man reasons is very different from the way a woman reasons biologically. Biologically, it is proven, right? So we're coming with a lot of other things that I should have to have that conversation on another episode. That when we find ourselves in a place where a man is the one now taking orders from us, automatically we will not have trust and relaxation in that relationship. Do we want to be in a relationship where we want to know that we cannot rely on the man that we're with? No, we don't want that. You as a woman, if you watch this, you know that you're now going to start looking at that man and thinking to yourself, is this a man? You know? And even the man knows that this person doesn't regard me. So every time that he's doing things, he's going to be second guessing himself. He's not going to move with confidence. And so you're going to have issues in the relationship. When he does something, he's going to be thinking, I wonder what she's going to say now, which now causes him to not be able to take decisions easily, To take a decision, he has to be thinking and rethinking and rethinking and rethinking and rethinking because he's worried about her, because he doesn't think that he has her confidence. So we cannot move, we can't lie to ourselves. But if you don't believe it, that's okay too. Just all of us will do what works for us, but um, think on it and process it. And you can't work against nature. In the end, you are going to be the one to bow. You will bow to nature. You will say, oh, of a truth, I see that I don't even know what I'm saying and what I'm doing because I can't work against nature. There are certain things that are just nature, right? It doesn't mean that I buy into all the things that were put there before. I don't buy into patriarchy because I know that a lot of things are just, again, because men are physically stronger. So they're the ones in charge of things from time immemorial because they're physically stronger. You cannot be in charge where somebody is stronger than you, right? But then again, remember that a woman has different aspects of the brain that she's reasoning with. And so that's why I say you cannot be dominating her because she also has some things that she's strong in that a man doesn't have. So that's why we have to work together. We have to work together. None of us should be dominating the other. I think I went off on a rant there. And so I say, yeah. Most of all, this man here that we're talking about will have less likelihood of picking a woman who disrespects him or of keeping a relationship with a woman he has to be begging for her approval. Yeah. He's only satisfied with a woman who holds him in high regard. And in fact, also, he picks a woman who he is truly proud of, not one that he's just managing. Because as Famous said before, when you feel small or something like that, he said, low confident people want to play it safe. Yes. So you have to build that confidence so that you're not going for something that you're just managing, you know? You're going for something that you're sure that this is what you want. And you have to understand yourself. To do this, you have to understand yourself and be all right, to be cool with yourself. And how can you truly be cool with yourself when you aren't proud of who you are? That's why you have to build that pride in yourself. When you cannot boldly say, look, God, you have created a good thing here, and you must be impressed with me. You must be able to say that to your creator. Once you can say that to your creator, then you are probably on the way. And then you say anyone who doesn't like it can go and eat grass, right? Well, how can you say this if you haven't developed yourself to your best capability, work-wise, mentally, working on your personal hygiene, social skills, yeah, appearance, being trustworthy? So do you see that you can change your relationships by changing yourself? I think I've already said all that. You come with the best version of yourself, and it shows through in the way that you confidently carry yourself. And that is the true confidence that makes a woman respect you, adore you, love you, and trust you. Right? Fellas, you can't get this by accepting all those gimmicks that people are teaching you in the world. It won't work. As I already said, those things are only temporary and they will get you the woman that you won't even be proud of at the end of the day. Right? They will not work for a woman who is confident in herself. And that's the woman that you actually want because that's the woman that you'll be happy with. So, let me see. How much more is here? So after you develop yourself and you're moving with confidence, this is the only time and basis upon which a man is ready for true, genuine relationships. And therefore, he's able to pick someone who is also ready to have a good relationship with him. With this, you have a good and solid foundation. And this doesn't mean that other problems will not arise, but at first and foremost, you have solved the basic issue. You have solved the real main issue, which is making yourself a good quality person for a good quality relationship with a good quality person as well. Right? So I'm sure that this clarifies things for you. And again, I know, okay, so we're at the end now. This is not the easiest thing to do because many humans just like to choose the easy route. But you see, the easy route hardly gives permanent satisfaction because it is not rooted in a strong foundation. Therefore, the relationship is planted on infertile ground. And so it's like a tree that easily falls when the wind is strong. And I don't know what else I could have done. I don't know what else I could have done to give you a better session today. I am sure that this is rock solid and this will change lives because it has been changing lives. Let yours be one of them. Stay blessed. Come and watch this video over and over every day for at least a month. Share it with your brothers and sons and your husbands, your boyfriends, and even you can learn and benefit from it to build your confidence. And with that, bye-bye. Ta-da. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and meet me again on Saturday, next Saturday. If there's any change, I will let you know under the comments in this video. Okay.